You are Locked On Dodgers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up? Pete Fox. Welcome to the Locked On Dodgers Postcast. It ain't nothing shutout. Walk like an Egyptian. That felt good. I don't know about you guys. I feel like sometimes people are less enthusiastic when it's a rout, when it's not close, when it's kind of not exciting. As far as I'm concerned, I'll take 8-0 every single freaking day. I don't give a damn if it's nail biting. I'll take this all the time. It's just so much easier and fun. But I know there's going to be close ones coming up, right? There's got to be. I don't feel like the Dodgers will sweep them in New York. Mets will get one, which means it'll go back to LA for a game 6, which we'll see, but more than likely will be a bullpen day. And that's never fun and not always, but usually pretty stressful. We had one that went great and one that went very poorly. So the third time will be a decisive bullpen day. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers Postcast, after an 8-0 win to grab a 2-1 series lead in the NLCS, is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel, is America's #1 sports book. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. Play your first $5 bet, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. I, again, am Pete Fox, host of the Locked On Dodgers Postcast here on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. I thought Landon Knack was exactly as I hoped and predicted he would be. On my Sports on Tap feature that I do on KLOS here in LA, I said something to the effect of, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Relax. He'll be fine. And then I made the comment that I was trying to convince myself of that. I really felt confident that I said, pay no never mind to the 10+ ERA he has coming into this postseason. The fact was that was a defensive breakdown by the Dodgers, and he pitched better than that would indicate last time out. So I wasn't terribly worried. He's an experienced pitcher. He's pitched much better of late. He is motivated, determined, because he's a free agent. He's kind of playing for his own livelihood coming up next year, in addition to the fact that, he's trying to do something that's difficult to do, come back from a second Tommy John surgery. And he's just a focused, kind of angry, pissed off, whatever you want to call it, gamer type of pitcher. Hunkers down, wants the ball, all of those cliches. That's what Walker Buehler is. So deserved the win, but because of the rules of baseball, did not get the win, because you got to go 5 to get the win. He only went 4, no runs on just 3 hits, striking out 6. We'll get into a little bit more of the details of his performance a little bit later as to why it was working so well. Thanks in large part to the breakdown from John Smoltzy, who tells it like it is and gives you fantastic insight. I know there are some of you out there, BC, I think, that don't like him. Maybe it's Nando. He's too old. He doesn't pay attention to analytics, makes fun of it. I'm surprised you like me still, because that's what I do. And that's why I like Smoltz. But I thought he had some great insight again tonight for the Dodgers. Michael Kopech did get the win, 1-0. 1-0 on the postseason for him. He came in and was just dialed. 12 pitches. I don't think he got into triple digits, but looked very, very good and struck out 1. The rest zeros. A dominant performance from him. Brazier was good. Trinan was good. Kasperius, 2 innings. I really like that guy, and a low leverage situation at that point after the Max Muncy home run to make it 8-0. But he is definitely dominating out there, getting postseason and NLCS invaluable sort of experience. To a certain extent here, I feel like I've kind of buried the lead because the only thing everybody wants to talk about when Shohei goes deep is Shohei. And again, his numbers are fantastic when runners are on base. It's black and white. Greg says Ohtani puts the cherry on top. No, Max Muncy put the cherry on top. Ohtani filled the glass or the plate with ice cream and whipped cream, and then Muncy with the cherry on top. But we've gotten into it a bunch. It's remarkable. During the regular season, he was best of the three situations: high, medium, and low leverage. He was best in medium leverage. His second best category was low leverage, and then high leverage, still very good. Top 20, I believe, in the majors with OPS, but it was the worst of his three categories. He's definitely turned that around. His low leverage numbers are awful. With nobody on base, over 20. With runners on, 7-for-9. That was his first home run since his second at bat of the postseason. Slider down and in, which is a hot zone for Ohtani that you do not want to flirt with. And he was waiting for it, looking for that pitch, got through it, got his front foot down, locked and loaded, and just crushed it over top of the foul pole. And it was an absolute bomb for his second home run. And that made it 7-0 with 2 on, only 397 feet because it was down the right field line. But honestly, the star of the night, yeah, Shohei had a good night. Anytime Shohei hits a home run, it's noteworthy. It's praiseworthy. But that was his only hit of the night. How about Max Muncy? Only 2 for 2, but on base, was it 6 times? I believe it was. Yeah. They showed a stat that he's been on his last 8 at bats. He's gotten on base. So that's the main reason he batted cleanup tonight. Moved Will Smith down to 7. We talked about that a couple of days ago. Mix up the lineup. You guys threw out some suggestions, and those suggestions involved moving Ohtani out of the leadoff spot. They even got into that tonight on the broadcast, Joe and John, Joe Davis, John Smoltz, about, why don't you move him down and give him more opportunity to have at bats with runners on base? So it's not a crazy scenario. I would not be the least bit surprised. I said I don't think they'll do it, and I still stick to that. They're not going to move him out of the leadoff spot. But Max Muncy, yeah, in the 7-3 loss on Monday, 1 for 2 with 2 walks. So his last 2 at bats, he got on base. I think it was a base hit and a walk. And now he's been on base 8 consecutive times. That's freaking awesome. So Max Muncy's got it rolling. Mookie Betts got robbed tonight. Other than that, he had a hit. Sorry, 1 for 4. Freddie 1 for 5. Who else had a nice night? Kike, the big home run, really, that kind of gave the Dodgers a little cushion, a little pad that made this game kind of feel out of reach at just 4-0, which is again, a very good feeling. Also, yes, thank you, Nando. Tommy Edman had a good night, continuing to play well. Highest batting average in the Dodger lineup. So it's all kind of rolling in the right direction, at least for right now. And I feel like I watch this series and I say, that's all you can ask for, right? Sorry to be so cliche like a player, like Kike and his, completely obvious, needless, nonsensical. Well, they're sensical, but they're a waste of time answers. When somebody asks him, well, it was after the series win over the Padres, so they were celebrating. He had his shirt off and drenched in champagne and beer and, completely out of control. Asked by Verducci or whoever it was on the sideline, why do you think the Dodgers are playing this way or something to that effect. What's gone into this change in attitude and momentum? And Kike says, are we live? Long pause. Yes, we are. Because we don't give an F. Like, really, Kike? Come on. He seems like a lot of fun, but at the same time, I feel like he's just annoyed with everybody all the time. If you're not in his circle, I don't know. Vassay asked him after that game against the Padres, something like, how does this feel? What's going on? How did you win this game? Whatever. And his answer was something to the effect of, well, Dave, at the end of the game, the box score showed that we had more runs than they did. So that's how we won the game. I'm like, come on. Again, it's all in good fun when you're celebrating. But when you win a game like they did tonight, I try not to get too excited about it. It's a good feeling. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm in a much better mood than I would be if they had lost, even by one run. Obviously, an 8-0 loss, we'd have a completely different attitude. But an 8-0 win, great, awesome, thumbs up. All is well for now. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's not get too excited. Again, I'm doing the cliche athlete thing. One game at a time. Tonight's a good one. 8-0 the final, 2-1 series lead for the Dodgers. It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. NFL fans, you can start the season, which is already started, with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, see if your hunch is accurate and based on anything, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the very same page where you place your bets. You can get started with a $200 bonus, which is guaranteed when you place just a $5 bet, your first $5 bet. Again, a $200 bonus. Download the FanDuel app or use their website, FanDuel.com. 8-0 the final. Walker Buehler, a stellar performance, if you ask me, for two very, very good reasons. Spotting the fastball and keeping anything that was spinning or off speed away from the hitting zone, away from the batters. So that was really what went into it for him. I mean, he had everybody off balance. He was pitching smart, using his head, not giving them balls to hit. Everything about it was really good. He got out of a bases loaded jam in the third with a nice K to JD Martinez down and away. Those pitches, when you're on the defensive end, when you're rooting for the team that's throwing those sliders and cutters and sweepers, it's awesome, right? It's a confident feeling. When you're on the other end and you're the team at bat and you're swinging at those pitches, you're like, how are you swinging at that ball? It's so far out of the zone. But the problem is, and the reason it's so tough to hit, the reason it works so effectively, is it doesn't look like that to the hitter. It looks like it's coming in there like a fastball. What we used to say back in the day in college was it drops off the table. It's coming in and then it falls off and just drops under your bat. That's more of the splitter, things of that nature. The slider just is heavy spin. It's almost like a curveball, slides from the top right side inside to a right-handed hitter, down and away to a right-handed hitter. So hard to hit. And he had that pitch working tonight. The cutter, the fastball, again, like running in football, running to set up the pass game. You throw the fastball in order to set up the off-speed pitches and keep those guys off balance. And that's what he did tonight. Struck out Alonso with a sweeper, struck out Vientos, who with a cutter had a nice job just mixing it up. So, hitting his spots, being smart, not giving anybody an opportunity to get comfortable with anything. Lindor, he got with a knuckle curve. Since when does he throw a knuckle curve? I didn't even know he threw a knuckle curve. That's news to me. I love that. Adding another pitch to the repertoire. What else we got here? Martinez, that was a nice strikeout there with the cutter. And then he was gone in the fourth. So his last strikeout was Alvarez, and that was a four-seamer. So how about that? A nice variety of strikeout pitches to get 6 strikeouts in just 4 innings. Sean the Bomb wants to know what I think of the defense today. It got scary when Edman missed that ball. Right, it did, but beyond that, there was no issue. It was a comfortable, kind of a casual walk on the defensive side of things. The other thing that kind of comes to my memory was Freddie digging one out at first base, which we got to see from the umpire's view on his cam. But beyond that, I mean, defense is like penalties in football, that when you don't have anything to say about them, it's a very good thing. There was no issues, nothing to worry about, nothing that was frustrating. Look, the umpire was a mess tonight behind home plate, and it wasn't just against the Dodgers. He was a mess for both teams. Kike was so frustrated in a very, very good performance for Kike. 2 hits, including a clutch home run. Kike was up there rolling his eyes and throwing his head back and hunching his shoulders. Like, he wasn't the only one, right? Teo, I believe, was doing that. There was a handful of them up there just like, oh my God, this umpire is all over the place. Joe Davis brought it up that he didn't have a very good command of the game. They were calling check swings on what didn't seem like check swings to me. So in spite of all of that distraction and, things that should be frustrating to you, it wasn't. It didn't matter. The defense was fine. There was absolutely no issue for the defense. Edman made one shaky little play there, but other than that, everything went absolutely smooth for the Dodgers in a 8-0 win, 10-4 in the hits department. So the other big thing that's gone great for the Dodgers, I'm still a little yearning for more from the top 3 in the lineup, the MVPs as they like to call them. Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. 3 hits total tonight, which is the first 3 of the series for them, I think. Shohei's absolutely done nothing. He's been ice cold. Mookie's hit the ball hard, so that's a good thing. He's gotten some just bad luck. He's hitting balls right at guys, and they make fantastic plays. And Freddie Freeman, to get a hit from him at all with the ankle is, it's a bonus, to be completely specific. But Teo's cold. But the thing is, with all of that, the Dodgers are getting on base, walking. And I don't know about you, but I don't really care how they get on base, especially to lead off an inning. Get that leadoff guy on is crucial. 20 walks in 25 innings. And that's something, if we were on the other side of this coin and we were talking about the Mets, we could spend the whole half hour whining and bitching about that. Like, how unforgivable is that? You cannot walk that many guys. 7 walks today. 4 from Severino. 3 from McGill. Garrett didn't walk anybody. So they have got to clean that up. But it's not easy. The Dodgers don't expand the zone. Tommy. Wow. Sorry. What a blast from the past there. Dave Roberts, who some of you like to whine and complain about, request his removal, his firing on a nightly basis, especially during a loss, has had this team. He's been preaching it all season. Do not expand the zone. Do not offer up balls out of the zone. Wait for your pitch. If you don't get it, take the walk and get on base. It is, without a doubt, a pillar of baseball, right? You can't swing at bad pitches. I did, Sean. I was thinking of Tommy Lasorda when I went to refer to Dave Roberts. And I got to say, that's never happened before. Bizarre. Sorry. But Dave Roberts has been preaching that all season. I think the first time we heard it was when Shohei Ohtani was struggling early in the season. But lately, the Dodgers have been, there's a specific term which I'm forgetting as to what they call it, but they don't offer at balls out of the zone. You got to throw the Dodgers strikes or they're going to watch them and go get on base with walks, which is completely fine. Starting a rally with a couple of walks. They loaded the bases in the third, turned into nothing, but 2 walks got that started. So from that perspective, whatever it takes to get on base, that's the game plan, right? That's the number one name of the game. Get on base, because you can't score runs if you don't get on base. So the fact that they're getting on base with walks, perfectly fine. How many do they have? 7. 3 for Muncy. Will Smith had a decent night, 2 hits, 1 strikeout, 1 walk. And he walked, I think, after being down 0-2. He's notorious for that. But long ball got it done for the Dodgers tonight. The first one from Kike, which is ironic that we're talking about that when the scoring started on fielders' choices and infield hits there. And the second, Will Smith reached on an infield single to the shortstop. I thought it bounced off of Severino. I was listening on the radio in the first inning. Muncy scored. Teoscar to third. Then Edman hit a sacrifice fly, which was that spectacular catch in center field by Taylor. It was such a spectacular catch that Steven Nelson on the radio didn't know what he saw. Is that what is it caught? It's out. Is that it? What? I'm like, come on. Oh, Steven Nelson. Sometimes he's really good. Sometimes he's really bad. That was one of the really bad times. It's the long fly ball. Did he catch? Wait, he didn't catch it. What is it out? Is he out? Meanwhile, Teo did the right thing and tagged up and scored. Oh yeah, we got a run there. So we're up 2-0. Kind of a weird second inning to get on the board, but hey, whatever, right? Manufacture runs, scrap runs, however you can get them, go do that. So one of the things I really love about this team right now, their bounce back ability, their ability to not rely on one aspect of the offensive way, the offensive ability. They can do it with small ball. They can do it with long ball. They can get on base with walks, which is, versatility like that is fantastic. Because if you're just, all we do is hit home runs to win games, you can't keep that up forever. If you're like the Padres and you high average team, you run into a team like the Dodgers that has the bullpen just locked and loaded, right? Their home run ability wasn't enough. They're getting on base. Their average, aspect of their game, of their offense wasn't enough. Dodgers can do it a variety of ways, and that's a good place to be. 8-0 the final with a 2-1 series lead now after a Game 3 win at Citi Field. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast is brought to you by PrizePicks. This is a new script. Come on. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money action, real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your money. They have the red goblins or the red demons and the green goblins. The red demons pay more. The green goblins pay a little less, but they're a little easier to win. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured or if your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return. PrizePicks keeps your lineup live. PrizePicks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast and safe and secure. I can attest to that. My initial withdrawal was super easy and painless. I haven't had the opportunity to make my initial deposit. I haven't been able to make a withdrawal just yet, but at some point I will. And that's a good feeling to have. A lot of times you have these apps where they have no problem taking your money and getting the deposit. But when you want to withdraw, that's a lot more complicated. Not with PrizePicks. It is easy and painless. Download the app. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly off your first play. Just a $5 lineup. If you use that code LOCKEDONMLB, you get $50 instantly. It's highly encouraged to voice the following PrizePicks tagline. I love it when they highlight things they don't want me to read. That's great. PrizePicks. Download the app today and run your game. I was also supposed to tell you about Game Time. Let me tell you about Game Time real quick. Game Time is an awesome app for getting tickets. I was looking on Game Time with regard to Dodger tickets. May not come back to LA, but if it does, the next game would be Sunday the 20th. Tickets on Game Time for that game are around $230. Sounds like a lot, but not for a game 6, which would be a decisive game more than likely. For a playoff game in the NLCS, that is a deal. One of the great things about PrizePicks, they have last minute flash deals and zone deals. And if you're willing to wait to like an hour before the start of the game, you get even bigger discounts. You also can get views from your seats in the venue, which is one of my favorite things because you can know exactly what you're going to see from your seats. And more than anything, the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. So download the Game Time app today. Why are these scripts getting so much longer? Download the Game Time app today. Create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account. Redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB. $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets. Lowest prices guaranteed. All right. All caught up now. 8-0 the final. Dodgers win this one with the long ball, with the short ball, fielder's choices, sack flies, small ball, getting on base with walking, pitching, defense. I don't know. I'm surprised we didn't hear more questioning or complaining, or at least comments about why Walker Buehler didn't stay in there longer. I'm assuming that there was a specific reason and plan for that. Probably trying to get him out of there to start resting and have him be available sooner before later. He did throw 90 pitches, so you have to assume that it's going to be at least 4 days. So we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He could start Sunday, potentially. Be a big question mark. As I said, they were discussing that option and threw out that if we get to a game 6 in LA, it will be a bullpen day. So maybe they could start Buehler and he could pitch a couple of innings. We'll have to see, because 4 innings isn't a lot, but 90 pitches, it's pretty full load. By the way, he lowered that ERA from over 10 down to 6 tonight with the shutout. Again, Kopech gets the win. 1K, zeros. Brazier, 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, the rest zeros. Trinan, 2 strikeouts, rest zeros. And Kasparius, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk over 2 innings, the rest zeros. Here is the other big, huge takeaway from this game that Verducci shared, that Dave Roberts is working with this low exposure of the bullpen, the law of low exposure, rather. They pointed out a very interesting stat that is a little confusing. I'll say it as slow as possible because I had to rewind the TV to go, what is this number? I know what a low exposure rate is, but this is even different. And the ending of it made it even more confusing. But he pointed out that Vientos and Lindor have had 13 plate appearances versus 10 different relievers. And neither one of those 2 guys who are at the top of the lineup have seen the same reliever twice. So Dave Roberts, who gets criticized all the time for not being able to manage the pitching staff, is doing a fantastic job. But that being said, Dave Roberts said something to the effect of, I've seen it work great for us. This is our plan. And it has been very successful in the past. And it has also not worked. So what the hell? Come on. Give me more confidence than that. Max Muncy with the home run is 13th in the postseason for the Dodgers, which ties him for a franchise lead, along with Justin Turner, my daughter's favorite Dodger, and Corey Seager. 13 postseason home runs for all three of those guys. Max Muncy, a fantastic night, 6 times on base, and been on base 8 consecutive times over the last 2 games for the Dodgers. Tonight, an 8-0 win. Right back at it tomorrow, little after 5 again. Jack Flaherty will get the start, or is it Yama? It's Yamamoto tomorrow. Good place to be over the next 2 days with Flaherty and Yamamoto. They will face, or Yamamoto will face off against Quintana, who comes in with a 0.0 ERA, 0.0. 11 innings pitched here in the postseason. He's given up 6 hits, struck out 11, walked 3. Yamamoto is 1-0, ERA 5.6, 8 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 Ks, 3 walks, and 1 home run. So it should be a good pitching matchup as well. And as I've said at least once, if not more times, to quote Ben Crenshaw, 1999 Ryder Cup captain, I have a very good feeling about this. Thank you for joining me here. It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your comments and participation. Again, we appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. Have a good night. We'll talk tomorrow after Game 4.